gonna just start talking about the matchup here. I'm Justin, I'm joined here by Bill Kiefer, Taco Bill, sorry, Justin Miyashiro, and JagTech and Hazardville. We're gonna be covering the game two of the top four match between Connor Britton and Paul Myers. I didn't actually get to see the full entirety of game one. Bill, how did you see how that went?
So I was at work, but I was able to watch it a bit in the background during most of it, and then was able to catch the tail end of it. So I saw that Paul's Watto did beat Stubbly's Legend by 14. So not an insurmountable amount, but still a significant amount.
Yeah, 14's probably doable. Um, I admit I've been kind of unplugged a bit from what people have been playing in the OCS playoffs here. I've been looking at a lot of stuff upcoming for set 13, so not been paying too much attention to current meta.
As you should.
Um,
Good time to plug the Road to Worlds event that's going on right now. Good time to plug World signups. Just went live in the store this week. Definitely get in on both of those.
yep, I am in both of those for
So
sure. Um, so as
okay.
far as what we're looking at in terms of the decks that they might play, um, I mean, the easy thing to say is that Connor would be likely to play Hunt Down because he's historically played Hunt Down. I don't know that that's necessarily the case right now. I know we saw Justin Desai play Hunt Down against a Prophet. Was that Bastion on Prophet? I can't remember who that was in the
As
other.
Bastion,
That
yeah.
was Bastion on Prophet. Um, so not necessarily the matchup that we might have expected like pre-errata. I don't. I wouldn't have necessarily expected either of those decks to show up, um,
That's
but so
that's what
so
happens when you get two OCS champions and multiple time world champions playing against each other. I think.
um, so ultimately I'd say a hunt down might be a possibility. Hunt down also is certainly helped by the errata, even if not helped by new cards from set 13 yet, just by having no idea taken down a peg. Um, so that could be possible. I mean, Connor has more range than
I
just the
I
one
think
deck does.
Huntdown
So
would be. I think Huntdown would be an interesting choice for Stubbly just because if you're Stubbly, right, you kind of have to put Paul on Hitco. He's pretty much played it the entire OCS season. He played it in game two of his last matchup against Eric Hunter. So do you want to maybe play that 60 cards of anti Hitco and just go hard on the ground, right? So it would be interesting.
yeah, and I
You're
think
already down 14. I don't know if you want constant visage damage coming at you.
yeah, it's a fair point. Since I mean, Hunt down is certainly capable of winning by 14, but I don't. It's hard for me to say it's likely to do that, especially in a matchup like if it's up against Hitco. Um, so yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of different possibilities here. Um,
And I feel like if Paul pulls out something like Legend, maybe or Hunt Down, maybe isn't the best matchup for that.
that's interesting that you say that because my experience with Legend has always been that Hunt down was quite good against me, but um,
They did start up a table.
ah, yeah,
You
there
were
it is.
correct. Stubbly did play Hunt Down.
Hunt down against Paul on Diplo.
Yep. So it looks like Connor is starting 12 card Hunt Down. Seems pretty standard right now. Paul starting Diplo with Strike Planning. I must be allowed to speak and Walkling. So pretty traditional Diplo. Stubbly's going to get a Sonic right away, so get him a little bit of activation. What is your opinion seeing these two decks here?
Uh, well, my experience historically has been that Hunt down does fairly well against Diplo. Um, Largely on the back of Diplo not being able to protect single sites against Hunt down especially well. They're also very vulnerable to the two versions of Vader that are common, which would be Vader, Emperor Enforcer, and Dark Lord of the Sith. I'm not actually sure if Dark Lord of the Sith is as popular anymore. It was quite popular when No ID was running around. It might not be anymore. Um, but either one of those are very good against Diplo, shutting down the draw of unable characters, that requires Diplo to hit Hujix's early and often. So my initial impression
That
would
all
be that
makes
Hunt Down's
sense.
advantaged.
Yep, and we see a flurry of shields played, so a grabber for both sides, a goldenrod for Paul. Stubbly had looks like a bridge in his hand, was able to pull the 2-0 security tower as well, and then we have a really fast Vader, which you were just saying, right to the Dune C for that explosive start.
Yeah, really, that's a pretty good opening hand for Stubley so far because he had the two 2-0 sites for activation and then just open handing a Vader. He doesn't seem to have had I am your father or a way to get Vader's lightsaber at least yet. Although he still knows the point, or no, he's moved to end of his turn.
Yeah. So we'll see Paul. Paul's going to grab a couple generals here. He grabbed General Kraken and General Leia. Interesting choice of Leia.
Hmm.
They'll both lose to Visage here. Sorry, they will not both lose to Visage. Just Paul will lose to Visage.
Yeah, Dan making a good point there. This is certainly a matchup that Stubley would know for sure. Between playing
Absolutely.
between playing Hunt Down, I mean, just playing Hunt Down as much as he has, he I'm sure knows how to play against Diplo. Um, yeah, General Lei is a really interesting choice because Diplo traditionally would run Leia Organa V because she's an ability
Right.
3 rebel for the objective. She draws on her own, and she's nice and cheap. So typically that's the version you would see. Now, Diplo could well be running a split, so you could well be running both. Your audio is cutting
That's
out.
true.
Well, that's no good. Is it both of our audios, Dan,
Just thinking.
or just Bill's, or just mine?
I choose to blame Dan.
Sounds fine. Um,
So Paul lost General Calrissian from hand to that visage damage. I don't. So I don't know that I've seen General Calrissian in Diplo when it's not starting squadron assignments. So it's possible that he has an alternate start maybe.
I could see that. Yeah, and Hunt Down being a deck that doesn't give you enough icons to do the alternate start and flip on turn one. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I would
Because
certainly.
traditionally you'd see probably a Lando scoundrel, right?
Yeah, exactly. I wonder then if he's running a split of Landos, if he's running Calrissian and Scoundrel. Um, there's a lot of different
Would be
options for
interesting
the possible build. So
to already have a split of Landos and a split of Leias in play potentially.
yeah, I'll say the Leia thing though is also one of the reasons that I find that I find Hunt Down to generally be advantage in this matchup, because as long as you can keep Luke off of the table, you can invalidate the use of Leia, and potentially Anakin, which Diplo sometimes runs. Um, I'm not as familiar of Lando's. Split of Luke is also possible, Dan. I've often seen Old Man Luke, Luke the Last Jedi, as well as Rebel Scout V. Um, so running the split seems definitely possible.
Splits of all the characters. So it
Probably
looks like
probably
Paul
only running
is
one
getting his
Han.
activation set up.
I'd say probably
Okay,
only running one
but
Han. That'd be likely, but
maybe he's got Han Chewie Falcon in there too, just for variation. So it looks like Paul is getting his activation. He's using his once per game to grab a farm with I must be allowed to speak. He pulled Mos Eisley with the objective. That means we're probably going to see a cantina at some point.
I would also say that having pulled both of those generals already with strike planning would suggest to me that he has Mon Mothma in hand or isn't running her at all. Not running her at all would be kind of
Okay.
ambitious, but
So I don't think it's super out of the realm of possibility just because we're thinking that he potentially has that alternate start for squadron assignments where you might not start strike planning and might need to get to somewhere in between, right? Does that make sense?
yeah, I could see that. Um, I mean, I think though if it's an alternate start, you still have to have Mon Mothma and Chandrilla And then, given that you have chosen not to do the squadron assignments alternate start, you now are kind of committed to trying to have to set that up somehow.
Yeah, I agree. But there's reasons why Paul's in the top four and we are not.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so pretty calm turn here for Paul. Oh no, he's still in his deploy phase. Never mind. He did pull battle plan, which I wouldn't expect to do during deploy phase. Let's have the cantina in hand as well. So a lot of force right away for both players.
This is one of the challenging things for Diplo in this matchup. Also, is that just by design, Diplo gives up a lot of foresight guns to the opponent. So Subly's going to be able to do pretty much whatever he wants, especially since he got his activation.
Right. So we see our first Luke here. This is Luke Rebel Scout to Mos Eisley. Unknown if we're going to see more or different Lukes. And just so, all right, if you're Paul in this scenario, you're going to take your entire turn one and you're going to first give up 4 activation, and then you're going to spend all of your force to deploy one lone character who you probably don't play a weapon for. That what possibly else is in his hand? What is protection? What is his plan here?
I mean, with no force active, I mean, Diplo commonly has barrier, but that wouldn't come into play here. With the errata to the shields, removing weapons display and firepower could definitely be a dodge. That's definitely possible.
Dan just pointed that out in chat.
Yep. Antilles Maneuver is another common card that Diplo would run, which would otherwise stack up. So it does stack with Luke Rebel Scout to make it very difficult to swing weapons at Luke. So that's certainly possible. See, we got some folks in here who are kind of new and watching the game. Welcome.
Yeah,
Um,
always good to have more players. We're trying our best to kind of do this at a high level overview, but also kind of let you know what is going on at the decision level as well. So the thing I'm most puzzled about for that line is if you're going to just deploy Luke, why deploy the Cantina as well? Is it just so you can set up your drain of 2 next turn?
I would think so. Um, yeah, deploying the Cantina, it does make the most sense if there is a dodge in hand. Because that would enable him then to dodge away to the Cantina, drain for 2, and then even move back over using the Mos Eisley game text if you wanted to, if this was a fight you wanted to have. I'm not really
Right.
sure
So
that it is, but
Connor lost a Maul Strikes and Paul lost and It Could Be Worse for Visage damage. Now during Connor's turn, he has played Lord Maul with Lightsaber and Count Dooku to Mos Eisley, along with the Phantom Menace.
is there a canceler for dodge? That's a good question, Dan. I do not know. Let me see.
I don't think there's a specific canceler, but there's plenty of things that cancel reacts. So he does have the dodge, which does get canceled by the Lana combo.
Yeah.
So this could get real ugly real quick. Lord Maul will fire at Luke. Swing at Luke.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Dan, if I'd quite say it's GG yet, but it's this is not certainly not how Paul probably would have hoped this would go. Um, yeah, without being flipped, Count Dooku's immune less than 8. Maul is immune completely thanks to Phantom Menace. So,
And he did draw 5/5 to hit Luke.
so yeah, all
So Luke at 4.0.
all that Paul can really hope for is just a low Destiny draw from Stubbly, which is still going to be +1 from Lord Maul with Saber. Well, that didn't happen.
Not, though.
So I guess the last resort here is Paul could have a Hujix. Diplo is a deck that could well run multiple Hujix, so that's possible.
Absolutely. So it looks like 19 to 11 down by 8.
Where's the first trick? Well, Dan, he can't have everything. Stubbly only has 5 cards left in hand, so can't have everything. There's the Hujix combo.
Does have a Hujix. Yeah, that almost confirms to me that he normally starts squadron assignments, right?
Uh, yeah, that seems likely. I was thinking it would confirm for me that he's running multiple. Because if you're running just one Hujix, I would expect you'd probably run Hujix and Escape Pod combo. But if you're running two Hujix, then you may as well run two combos. All right.
Looks like out of commission went off the top for Paul. So definitely had Stubbly potentially on hunt down, just wasn't able to find the out of commission.
Yep. And Jared makes a good point in the chat. There's a good Hujix combo got grabbed by Stubbly, which I think is a good call. As you're saying, Hujix is a card that Diplo is very likely to lean quite heavily on, so not letting him play the second one easily is certainly a good idea.
And the fact that he's got to win by 14, so you got to think that maybe a quick beatdown is one of those paths to victory. All right, so Paul will activate 12 cards here. He's grabbing Sight or an Alderaan currently.
Against Hunt Down, Andy is there's a number. I mean, there's a number of decent possibilities. Vader's Anger V, yeah, Dan is a good one. It depends a little bit on the texture of what cards Diplo is running. Because I know a lot of decks would want to grab like Force Field, but Diplo probably doesn't care about that because Diplo generally doesn't run weapons. Um,
I would actually lean towards something. I think you're on the right track. I think if Diplo is playing Savrip and Celebration, you can look at grabbing something like Cold Feet
yeah,
or Masterful Move combo.
yeah.
Otherwise, I think Lana is a really good card, just a good general card. Maybe if he's got more than one dodge or react type defense.
Yeah, it's actually interesting as I think about it now. There's a number of reasonable options, but I don't think there are actually any like especially great options. It's not the same as like for instance grabbing like Rebel Leadership against Legend or something like that. Hunt Down has a number of effective interrupts that certainly do things, but it doesn't lean especially heavy on any particular ones.
So Paul grabs Alderaan out of the deck. Conor did pull. Do they have a code clearance shield? Preventing maybe a Jedi Lev, stacking a potential Jedi Lev.
Yeah, Code Clearance is a reasonable shield to pull given seeing Owen and Baru. I mean, Owen and Barulars is a pretty common card for Diplo to play, but hedging your bet against Harvest. I would say also this is probably a
Paul
match.
is known to play Harvest from time to time.
Yeah, I would say this is also probably a matchup where Darkseid doesn't really need to be that worried about shield pulls. Um, Diplo Diplo could certainly run solo, so there's a possible window to use useless gesture, but certainly you don't have to worry about Sense and Alter. You don't have to worry about um, like we're past pod racing. Where Diplo's not going to run a lot of unusual stuff most of the time. So and Diplo had to pull Battle Plan themselves.
Yeah.
So
the only one I would say that he could look to pull is Fanfare if he's worried about Lost in the Wilderness.
yeah.
So Paul getting a big think in here.
Yeah. I was just curious as I was going back through. I don't think. I was wondering if Paul gave up a verify somewhere in there um, so that Stubbly had some advanced knowledge that there is a harvest or something, but doesn't look like that. Doesn't look like that happened.
I don't think we've seen one, no.
No. So Ahsoka will also
Paul
flip
playing
back.
Ahsoka Tano to the Cantina to flip Hunt Down back. What do we think that? What's Connor's line here next turn?
Well, Conor certainly has the drain of 3 at Mos Eisley that is I would say a given. Um, okay.
Okay, so Paul gonna play General Leia to the Lars farm and get a use pile pool with I must be allowed to speak.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dan. Menace Phase is a card that could certainly be in Diplo. It was very commonly in Diplo when ISB was before the errata, when ISB was everywhere. Um, it could certainly be effective in this matchup. You'd have to expect that Hunt Down typically runs splash space, if any, so you'd expect that you should be able to control a battleground system. And then if you can't control a battleground site, you're not beating Hunt Down anyway. So
True. All right, so Paul's setting up celebration here early. He does have those two battleground sites to set it up. We'll be able to retrieve two at the moment, but I'm sure that'll change at some point.
yeah, I agree with Dan in the chat. I kind of think the drain is likely, and then probably he's going to move in front of somebody, probably Ahsoka, and then draw. Um,
That
I
drain does get knocked down to two now because of ultimatum.
yeah, I would guess. Let's see. I would say probably Lord Maul moves into the cantina. Would be what I would do.
See a Dark Jedi lightsaber go off the top for Conor, and it's a hit go off the top for Paul, who's now lost both. It's a hit, and it could be worse.
Dark Jedi lightsaber is an interesting card. Is not especially
Very much so.
common. Usually, you would see Hunt
I
Down
mean, I
be
guess it would
playing.
for Dooku. All right, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say usually you would see them playing like just Vader's lightsaber and I am your father. Um, yeah, Dark
Right.
Jedi lightsaber can go on Dooku. If you're playing, can it go on Emperor?
It cannot. It can go
It's
on Grievous and
Warrior.
Aura Singh, though.
Yeah. Um, well, your Aura thing probably already has a weapon that's better than Dark Jedi lightsaber because you're probably playing EPP Aura, and then being able to go on Grievous is pretty good. Uh, who else? Would you
So
reasonably
Connor
be
did drain
playing?
for two. Looks like Paul lost Ray and a Rebel Barrier from reserve deck.
Hmm.
Then
So
we have Emperor deploying to the Hala Theater.
yeah, that's interesting.
Very, very thematic.
Yes. It's interesting. I guess it makes sense because Diplo is a deck that has access to a number of spies, so you do want to be able to protect the Visage. Um, oh, Justin is making a good point. The Dark Jedi lightsaber can go on anybody to be able to hit Ahsoka because you can.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you can even put it
Uh,
on Lord Maul with saber and just use the Dark Jedi saber instead of his EPP weapon.
so definitely an interesting play here where Connor moved both Maul and Dooku into the cantina and then used text on the backside, or excuse me, the front side of Down and Destroy the Jedi to use 4 Force to take Vader into hand.
Yeah.
I mean, do we think maybe that he just doesn't have more characters, or I don't
I mean, if he didn't
quite understand the point of doing that.
if he didn't have more characters, I would kind of expect him to just draw instead of spending 4 force
Right.
to move his character to take presence off of the board. Yeah, I'm not. Doesn't want to beat down on Vader. I mean, I suppose Paul only has 6 cards in hand this turn, though, so I don't know how much of a beatdown you can really do.
And we've already seen Luke and Ray go lost. Ahsoka's on table. General Leia's on table. General Calrissian's lost. Like, what else? We know one of those cards is General name I forget. Kraken.
Yeah, but Kraken doesn't do anything against Vader, so
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not scared of that 6 card hand.
yeah.
Right, so Paul will drain at the farm for 1. Use the shuffle text to move to Mos Eisley and drain for 1. And Connor lost I Am Your Father and what's the other card? Imperial Justice off the top of the deck. Paul then retrieves 2 with Celebration, which immediately gets answered by an imbalance combo to make him lose 1.
Balance combo is, I think, a really underrated card. Like it doesn't do a lot, but it does enough to be quite good in a lot of situations. So, although awkwardly, it's usually best when they're retrieving exactly 1, but such as it is. I
And I
don't.
think Connor's got to look for every little edge he can get here.
Yeah.
What kind of beer am I drinking? I have a Crooked Crab Infinity Crab. It's a New England double IPA. Right, so Bail Organa, Botana 4.
Hmm.
And Chewy Protector, the farm, where he will be cheaper because he's deploying to Leia's site. And that will get him a pool with, I must be allowed to speak.
You know, this IO is actually just thinking this Diplo almost looks like he has no intention of flipping, which would be kind of weird, but maybe fine.
I've seen it around a little bit, but not, I don't know. Maybe it's no flip versus hunt down just because you don't start the squadron assignments if there's a squadron assignments, which I'm also now questioning.
Yeah, you would think if there was a squadron assignments, he would have pitched it. It must not be a card that he has had access to yet, because he would have pitched it on purpose by now.
Right.
Now I'm thinking about what the advantages of playing no flip Diplo is. So I guess like you start the system, but like the the cards that you would include in order to flip are like the squadron assignment package potentially to use the Falcon to move, or just like the traditional flip would be like you'd include Mon Mothma, Chandrilla, and like Bright Hope. But you like Bright Hope's a card you would probably play anyway unless you were just running absolutely no space except for Tantive. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and you can already pull Mon Mothma with strike planning.
I would need to be convinced that no flip Diplo was the correct way to go before I decided that that was a deck I wanted to play. So
All right, so we see Owen and Baru do the Moisture Farm for free.
it's an interesting Doom stack at the Moisture Farm.
I don't think he intended it that way. It just works out that that's where Chewy is cheaper and Owen and Baru are free. So,
Yeah.
and almost right on cue, he does move Owen and Baru over to Mos Eisley. That no flip potentially might explain the Leia choice as well.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not going to flip, you don't really care about the ability 3 Rebels then.
Not that Leia is bad, but it's not what we expected to see.
Yeah.
So Paul going to draw a couple cards here, replenish his hand.
I don't remember what the stats were in OCS, but I feel like General Leia might have been. Well, hang on. Let me look it up before I just talk on my butt about it.
The most played Leia in the OCS.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. I don't know if that stat is going to be easy for me to look up while we're doing this. Probably not. No, probably not.
I would guess yes, because Well, no. All right. There's a lot of. I was gonna say there wasn't much Diplo played, but there was a lot of no idea played that would play Leia Organa V.
Yeah. Yeah, interestingly, I mean, during the regular OCS, especially in the later months when the meta was a little bit more sussed out, uh, I think you actually across the top three light side decks could potentially just see three different Leias. Because Legend was certainly going to run General Leia because you wanted to run a resistance character in order to flip. No Idea was
Right.
almost certainly going to run Leia Organa V because she's a spy. And then TRM, I think, quite commonly played Leia V because they didn't have a particular need for a individual Leia persona, but Leia V was very good against ISB. That or Leia Rebel Princess actually are both reasonable TRM choices. I mean, all of them are reasonable TRM choices, but I think there's particular appeal to both of those two alternate ones. Poor Princess Leia V. I have not seen her played in a while.
All right. So Paul drew a couple cards, played a Rescue in the Clouds. They're now losing to Visage, where Conor is losing a second Count Dooku off the top. Paul is going to lose something.
Uh, Andy Davies, to answer your question, Huntdown's game plan against Diplo is going to be to try to cause continuous damage with Visage and Drains, which it's been doing, but also to seek to get a beatdown in somewhere because it's a very aggressive battle phase oriented deck. We know that Stubbly took a Vader into hand here, so he has a Vader to attack with. And yeah, getting Ahsoka off the table is going to be key in flipping the damage race because Ahsoka is keeping Hunt down on the 0 side. So if he can kill Ahsoka and get her off the table, he'll be able to flip back to his 7 side, which will then both prevent Paul from draining where Leia is, and then also make it so Stubbly doesn't have to take damage from Visage. So the, the drain there I think does suss out I think we're looking at the squadron assignment build, and Tia's alternate started.
Yeah. So Paul lost Rebel leadership off the top for his Visage damage, and then when Conor drained for 2, Paul lost 2 All Wings reported in combos off the top of his deck.
Hmm.
I'm wondering now if Conor chose to take Vader into hand because that is one of the easiest ways to get rid of Ahsoka.
Yeah, having Vader just with a weapon. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Right. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this turn as Conor is just drawing.
So
That
Sublime,
man's a pretty good 12th card to draw.
Sublime is behind in the damage race this upcoming turn because he's going to be facing a drain of 2 at the farm thanks to Bail Organa, if I remember this correctly.
I don't think that Leia is an Alderaanian, right? Unless it's a AR entry.
Leia's always an Eldoranian.
Okay.
Um, and or stolen data tapes on table. Yes. So okay. So it'll be a drain of 2 at the farm and 1 at Mos Eisley as on top of the retrieval of 2 from Celebration.
Wonder if that's coded because if you look at the farm, it says that restraint amount is 1.
Well, now I'm questioning my recollection of the rules. I was pretty sure Leia was always an Alderaanian. Let's find out.
All right, so Conor just drawing that turn, drawing up to 12, saving 6 force. They're going to each lose to Visage here.
Why does the word Alderaan appear so many times in the rules document? I don't know why I thought searching for Leia would be an easier search. All right, we can do this. We can figure it out.
Alderaanian. I don't know how to spell that. It's probably on bail.
I believe stolen data tapes counts as being on table as long as it is somewhere on the table, even if it's on the droids. I don't think it needs to have been delivered in order for bail to count. I could certainly be wrong
Right, so
about that,
Paul
but
lost quite a mercenary from reserve deck, and Connor lost Sonic Bombardment from hand for visage damage. Oh, Dan fixed it for us.
oh
Bale
yes,
says an Alderaanium ability less than 4, and Leia is ability 5.
yep.
All right.
Yet another reason why Leia Organa V is the typical Diplo choice.
Right, so he does get Paul does get a drain of 1 now at the system since it's +1 with Bale and -1 from the objective. So he'll drain for 1, 1, and 1. Connor's going to lose the Emperor's Enforcer Vader from hand. Questionable. Uh,
I would certainly
Octarine Ponda Baba combo.
losing the known Vader from hand would indicate he has to have another one in hand. There's no other way that makes sense.
He did not drain at Mos Eisley yet, instead choosing to retrieve 2 Force first.
I wonder.
Okay. That tells me he's probably not moving over because he could have moved over and retrieved 3 instead of 2.
I'm moving into the cantina to do the fight would be ambitious. Not impossible for it to be good, but uh,
He does know that his only card in reserve deck should be a rescue. But should never mind. Ignore me.
oh, because he played rescue during Darkseid's turn, right?
No,
No.
he played it during his draw phase.
Okay. Oh, but
So I was
then
wrong.
yeah, that would be the yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that, Jared. Losing from force pile to the drain uh, would suggest to me that he has a card that he's looking for in reserve that he doesn't want to lose, and masterful move combo seems like a reasonable guess as which one it would be.
I see that Dr. E was also from Force Pile. Okay.
Yeah, one of the interesting dynamics of this matchup too is that Diplo has to put a lot of cards on the table in order to function, pretty much. But Diplo is really good at just maintaining at a moderately low life force count. It's like you might like he's down to 19 right now in life force and 9 in hand against 29 to 10 in hand. So Lightside is behind by 10 here, but uh, it's very possible that you could see that life force stay at about, you know, 15 or so for the rest of the game potentially. Um,
Yeah.
that would certainly be, things not going well for Stubbly, but uh, Diplo is very capable of, just hanging in, and doing a lot with a little. So
So Paul did give up a verify now of that one card. So they know what it is, but not us.
an action is on Paul to decide what to do here. Honestly, I kind of feel like on the previous turn where Chewie and Owen and Baru got deployed, I kind of felt like the Dark Jedi should have been separated. One should have been at Mos Eisley. Um, Coming into this turn, though, I do think it was correct to have them grouped up because with Paul having a big hand at that point, uh, and then the movement around and stuff, would have been
As you're
dangerous to leave
saying,
either alone.
when he moved into the cantina originally, he probably should have just moved one of them.
Yeah, I think I would have just moved Lord Maul in. It depends on the context of the rest of Slubby's hand, though, because if he didn't have anything else to back up Count Dooku anyway to attack if he moved in front, then it doesn't really make any difference.
Right. All right. So interesting little string here. Paul deploys solo. Conor immediately plays a useless gesture. And then Solo is going to use his once per game to play an out of commission combo from Lost Pile to cancel Visage, which I actually think might help Conor right now.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could see that.
Because if Connor's able to kind of find a way forward, training for two, finds a way to cancel celebration, um, that's going to help him because he's got to win by 14. So if he's taking constant visage damage, then that's not going to help him win by that much.
Yeah.
All right, so Admiral Radis along with Solo. Yeah, Jared, that's what I'm thinking. If I'm Paul, I want to keep that visage damage going. That's basically a clock. Paul just has a real disdain for clocks.
Speaking of, he is down 14 minutes right now. 26 to 40 in some seconds.
So it seems like Paul is content to, pluck away with drains of one and retrieve 2 to 3 a turn, and then see what Conor can throw at him.
This is certainly kind of the game plan for Diplo is to set up and spread across the board. You know, normally you would be doing it while you were flipped so that, your battle destinies would be +4 instead of +0. But, uh, yeah, this is kind of what the board should look like for Diplo if they're winning, with the exception of, stolen data tapes are still on the droids.
What is Paul afraid of here? Like what is the worst case scenario for Paul?
Well, worst case scenario would be if he doesn't have any answer to, like, if he doesn't have a barrier or something. Worst case scenario would probably be Vader and Doctor E coming down together with a Vader's lightsaber in there somewhere, whether it's from I Am Your Father or just having the saber in hand. Because let you that would let you potentially kill Ahsoka, blank Owen and Bru's game tax, and then just beat down for a ton. Um,
I would, except we saw Dr. E and Pondabeba go into his lost pile.
yeah, but I wouldn't put it past Connor to have two of them, especially with the Dark Jedi saber in his deck.
Right, and then Sniper does the same thing as well.
Yeah, Sniper would also do it. Um, Sniper might almost be more reliable because there are, like, Odin Essler combo is a pretty commonly played card which would protect from Doctor E, but Sniper combo, to my recollection, doesn't really. I guess it's a trap, but otherwise doesn't really have a lot of commonly played counters.
Well, we did see Paul save 3/4 last turn, so it's entirely possible that he's playing as a trap. At that point, you just cancel the battle, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Paul content to just draw a couple cards here,
Uh,
drawing up to 12 in hand.
so Andy, to answer your question, as far as a beatdown, going for solo Radis would be better from a straight beatdown perspective. Um, Clearing Ahsoka gets the objective flipped though, and I think that's more important as long as you're reasonably sure you can hit Ahsoka, because that saves at this point because it saves a drain from Leia. It wouldn't help with the damage from Visage, so it wouldn't get you there. But although maybe it will because he could be playing multiple Visages. Um, so that, yeah, for that reason, I would go for that beatdown personally.
All right, so Connor activating 17 Force, has 20 to work with this turn. Is going to not drain this turn, not pay to drain. He's going to play Tarkin's Bounty instead to effectively tunnel vision. Finds Vader,
Yeah.
deploys him to Mos Eisley.
I guess before he goes too much into this, I was going to say the other alternative play, if you have like depending on the answer that you actually have with Vader, is if you have like a um, if you have a Clash and not a Doctor E, it's possible that going after Solo and Radis is better because you can just Clash solo regardless. Um, but it looks like that's not necessarily going to matter here.
No, it's not. So Vader gets barriered, and the barrier does go through.
Yeah, Jared, absolutely. Blocking the Mos Eisley shuffle is also a big deal. Occupying both the Cantina and Mos Eisley helps quite a lot.
Like Mara follows. Mara with lightsaber.
Hmm. So Mara with lightsaber is a really good card. The trouble is that she can't hit Ahsoka because Ahsoka is immune to permanent weapons. Ooh.
Also Kylo Ren with lightsaber.
Hmm. Do we like this? I'm not actually sure if I like this.
I was just going to ask if you get Vader barriered and you have those two cards to follow in your hand, doesn't it make a bit more sense to take them both to the Dune Sea?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that going to the Dune Sea would be better than sticking it out here. Um,
You are beaten would be a good card.
I mean, if he Jared, if he has you are beaten, this beatdown is just about as bad as we were thinking it might be. I
So
guess that's
Antilles
actually not
do
really
it.
true. Well, no, it is because he could. You were beaten Ahsoka, cancel Owen and Brew's text, and then battle for free. Okay.
So Paul did play Antilles maneuver, so each of those swings will cost one force. And he does battle. Maybe saving you are beaten. Extra blowout potential. Kylo will swing at Owen and Baru.
This is a pretty safe swing. Hitting ability 3 is not that hard. Especially since there's like maybe 1-0. Maybe I guess there's maybe 2 zeros left in Subley's deck somewhere. Because he's
He
probably
lost his
playing.
sonic hands. He probably doesn't
Oh,
have the two.
yeah, probably doesn't have the 2-2. Playing the castle is likely, but
Yes. So he does hit. It's a 5 and a 4. That will make Paul lose a card.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Dan. It's like castle is just so likely to be in this deck. Um, but if you were expecting your opponent to be playing a deck like Diplo, some deck where you know they would have a battleground, then you don't actually need to have the downtown plaza. So I could see that. I'd say
I
especially
would wager,
actually. Oh, sorry.
I would wager every light side deck currently being played gives you a battleground to go to, since Throne Room is not really a thing right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Is that since throne, yeah, since with throne room being having the errata hit it pretty hard, uh, it's unlikely that light side's not going to give you a battleground site. I guess legend doesn't have to, but legend has a hard time winning without a battleground site also. So
Andy, to answer your question, I would not clash Owen and Baru, or you are beating Owen and Baru. I would definitely you are beating Ahsoka, because now, like he's doing right this second, you are 11 power to Owen and Baru's 4, and they're forfeit 0. So you're guaranteed to cause 7 overflow plus your destiny.
now Paul did save 3-4, so he can pay for the Hootix if he has it, which might be what he saved 3-4s for, given that he didn't play It's a Trap. I think you still have to go for this though. Like you still have to make him have it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the other side of that too, Andy, is that the danger of playing Eurobeaten on Owen and Baru here, you would be overpowering Ahsoka by a fair bit, but your destiny is -1, so because of Ahsoka's text. So you might only force him to peel some. You might not even kill Ahsoka with attrition. And you may not even force you. I wouldn't say likely because Diplo's destinies are kind of variable with so many characters, but there's a distinct possibility that you won't actually force him to take overflow. You might just kill Ahsoka. Like killing Ahsoka is good, but uh, causing all this overflow is the way that Stubbly can win the game. So
So Paul puts Walkling out of play to retrieve the worst Han that he lost to the Kylo lightsaber hit. It's kind of weird, but okay.
yeah, I don't know that I understand that play. Is it to?
Is this in
Hmm.
anticipation of losing what is now going to be 11 cards?
Yeah, it's a good point, Joe.
All right, so it is 15 to 4, difference of 11. Boone and Brewer forfeit 0.
Now, if Stubbly has a Gick in his 6 cards, he could move Kylo over in front. Well, no, moving Kylo in front of General Leia is bad. Don't do that. Um, he could move Mara over for free though, because the Emperor's on the table.
All right, so no second Hujix. He does have to peel the 11. All right, so then right now he's sitting at 17 in life force and 9 in hand, so that's what, 26? I'll put him at 15 total. See if more cards come from hand or life force.
Yeah, I would think that that Where's Han is going to be one of the cards that's lost because that card doesn't seem like it does a lot here.
All right, so I'll read these off as we decide. Looks like the Falcon first from hand. That Where's Han? Might of the Republic from use pile. Rescue in the Clouds, Rescue in the Clouds, both from reserve. And Tilly's Maneuver from use pile. Barrier from reserve.
Yeah, I agree, Joe. Losing the
Uh,
Falcon from hand. Sorry, Bill, I'll let you finish reading the cards off.
go ahead. I think you got the time.
I'll say losing the Falcon from hand would kind of indicate to me that he doesn't plan on trying to do that at all. It's possible that it's too much force expenditure to be able to run all that stuff around, especially since he lost General Calrissian already. Solo's on table, so he may not actually have a pilot for the Falcon without shuttling up.
You saying he needs a pilot? So you've got a lot of guts coming here from reserve deck. General Kraken from hand. Rebel leadership from reserve deck. And it's a trap for reserve deck. So one of the things I think that's interesting is that top card of his use pile right now is that barrier. So he must know that and didn't want to lose it. He also kept 7 cards in hand, but only 8 cards in reserve in life force. So I
Yeah,
don't know. That tells me that's more of a red card hand than anything else.
yeah, I'd be really interested to see what those cards are, because yeah, I'm with you, Joe. With only 8 cards left, he's not really going to be able to deploy and retrieve and move stuff around. This is tough.
Got a subscriber here, CCG417. Thank you for subscribing for 10 months. Months in a row. All right, so he did move Kylo over along with Mara.
Yeah, especially after all that force got lost from Life Force, Stubbly probably has to feel pretty confident that the Vader is reasonably safe, since Ahsoka won't be able to participate in the battle.
All plays an all wings combo to just put a card back. So we know that 4 cards down, he's got 5-4. He does activate those 4 cards, so he's got 5-4 on top.
Means he's running 3 all-wings combos. So
We didn't see squadron assignments go though. I wonder if that was his way to.
I wonder if he's just running three. I wonder if he's just running 3 all-wings combos to find the Falcon and then use strike planning to get General Carisian. Huh.
Well, he'd activate 2 more and use Radis to check the last card of his reserve deck.
Hmm. So he must need that force in order to do the battle, so he needs to check to see what the destiny is to see if the battle is even worth it. Uh,
And that's that mystery card. It was 1 force to use for barrier.
yeah.
All right. So what is Paul's path to victory here? Right. He's got to get Conor down to under 14 cards. He's sitting at 28 in life force and 6 in hand.
Yeah, this is the other tough part about the matchup from Diplo's perspective is without being flipped, since they don't run weapons, it's going to be very difficult for them to get into any battles here which clear more than one dark side character, because just the forfeits on table are all so much. Like Mara's the lowest at 7, I think. Um, so, and like just getting into these battles is just going to lose so many cards for Diplo. But since they can't get dark side's characters off the table, it's hard for them to hold a bunch of sites to run celebration. So yeah, this is
We
not.
see him retrieve. He retrieves 3 here with celebration. So that tells me he's probably not doing much more this turn. Is that a second Owen and Baru?
Yep.
Must be, right?
Harvest would be. I mean, Harvest would be so ambitious here. Yeah, exactly. Because code clearance is already on table, so that would be committing to not being able to retrieve with celebration for the rest of the game, or I guess not much.
Okay, so he does follow up with Cassian, which actually works out not great for him because now when he initiates the battle here, he has to retrieve 2 force instead of 1 because of Kylo,
Hmm.
which he cannot do because he's only got 1 force left. He is outpowering Conor 18-11 currently.
Yeah, and
Air's going to swing at.
Cassian certainly means that what it's going to be 18-11 plus whatever this destiny is, because he's just going to cancel. Well, maybe not. He could certainly cancel Stubbly's Battle Destiny draw. He might cancel the weapon draw to save Leia here, though. It's tough to do that though because there's 2 weapons, so you kind of
Yeah.
needed the first one to miss, and then you can protect it with the second one. But canceling the first one and then just having your hit anyway is kind of terrible. So
Leia is hit. 2 5s to hit Leia.
and then Chewie Protector has armor if I remember right. Yeah, armor 4. So the one to swing at with Kylo would probably be Cassian. All right.
I think I like the swing at. All right, well, now I don't anymore. But as I say, I like the swing at Owen and Baru because it's clearly a big part of his game plan. And we're thinking there's probably a harvest at some point in the near future.
Yeah. The reason I was
So
thinking
he
to
does swing at Owen.
Yeah, the reason I was thinking to aim at
Not
Cassian is
late.
because you're much more likely to hit Cassian, or not much, but you're more likely to hit Cassian, much more, I guess, with the dodge. But
Yeah, I would, and I will tell you, I was not thinking about dodge. So the dodge does save Owen and Baru from Kylo.
I mean,
Is that like
proving me wrong though, it would have missed any. It would have missed Cassian also, and Cassian can also use his Destiny protection to cancel one of the Destinies, so that the lightsaber hit swing will miss through dodge pretty much regardless. So
the Cassian can't dodge, right? He still would have hit
um,
Cassian. It's a
oh
character ability greater than him.
yes, that is true. He cannot dodge.
Stubbly does have to lose one here because Kylo missed trying to swing at what is his uncle's uncle.
Great uncle and aunt, right?
I
Yeah,
don't know.
great
His
uncle and
uncle's
aunt.
uncle and aunt. Is
It's step.
that what it is? Great uncle?
I think step anyway, but whatever.
All right. Paul draws a 4 for Destiny. It doesn't matter what Conor draws, it's probably going to get canceled by Cassian. It's going to be 22 to 11.
That's a
And that 6 is definitely going to cancel.
yeah, that's a good one though.
All right, so if you're Conor here, you owe 11. You have two guys that forfeit for 7. You lose both, or what do you think about keeping one and peeling 4?
So if Stubbly has basically any backup characters in hand, I would lose one in PL4. Probably be Mara because Mara has less power. Ooh, okay. So
All
old
right.
Ben. Hmm.
Old Ben puts Leia back to the site. It is new.
That. Does that change it? That. That could change it. Well, I guess not.
So he is going to peel the 4 to keep Kylo there. He's going to lose Darth Vader, Emperor's Enforcer, Imbalance Combo, Sonic Bombardment, and Imbalance Combo. Reserve deck. 2 imbalance combos.
I actually kind of like two imbalanced combos. As I was saying before, I like the card quite a lot, and
Absolutely.
canceling Sorry About the Mess against decks that have Sorry About the Mess is a huge deal. So, and it's
Yeah.
a Destiny
And
4,
especially if
so
you can put all on hit code.
yes. So keeping Kylo would suggest to
All
me
right.
that Stubbly has some sort of backup character. Uh,
He's going to
P15.
start his turn here with 23 in reserve. He's going to activate up to 18 if he wants to. He's got 4 cards in hand to Paul's 2, and Paul has 12 cards left in Life Force. Looks like Andy subscribed also. Thank you for the subscription.
That is a good observation. So Andy indicated that Stubbly should be able to activate down to the 6 and then
Yep.
kill Ahsoka with Force Lightning from Count Dooku. Uh,
I will say that is not a line I saw immediately. All right, so Connor drains for 2 at the Cantina, and Paul loses Commander Vanden Willard and Tatooine Celebration, both from reserve.
I don't actually think that we know he has Force Lightning. I do not remember him pulling it.
I don't remember him pulling it either. We know he's playing it because I've seen it at some point. Well, instead, we're going to see Aura Singh come down to the farm.
But no battle.
Oh, he moved into his move phase already.
He pulled it pretty early. Okay. I say Emperor hasn't been on the table that long, but
Yeah, I don't remember him pulling it, but I certainly could be wrong. So Conor going to play a Lana combo here. We were all wrong about that top card. It's a 4, which he will use to transport. Moving Dooku to Ahsoka's site. Okay.
huh.
He's
Okay.
tracking better than us.
Yeah. Yep. It all makes sense now.
Oh, because he lost a card with Kylo. That makes sense. Okay. So Dooku will Force Lightning Ahsoka Tano, just like in the movies. Uh, that will flip back Hunt down to the 7 side, which means that Leia cannot battle or drain. Um, going to see Conor move or sing to the Dune Sea and Kylo to the Dune Sea, effectively cutting Paul's damage into 1/3, because he'll only be able to drain for 1 in space. And it does get rid of 1 of the retrieval as well, because Ahsoka is no longer at the site.
I wonder why Ahsoka went to, or not Ahsoka, why Aura Singh got deployed to the farm in the first place. Um, if he was just going to move over anyway, I kind of feel like he would just draw the card. To answer Joe's
So that
question, the Lana was played because he had tracked down and knew that the 6 was 1 down in reserve, so he had to use that. He had to use the top card of reserve somehow. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he activated all of his force in order to get to where he was. Yeah, he activated all 18 force to get to where he was. So the big brain next
yeah, I
level
agree.
play
I
that
think
none of us saw.
I do think Orsing should have been deployed directly to the Dune Sea. But I don't know.
I mean,
Clearly showing that Stubbly knows better than all of us.
yeah, I mean, Stubley is he does have to be wary of the differential here because that is sort of the whole point. He does have to win by 14, so uh, it's possible he like doesn't want to draw that card. So just having a way to use more force to circulate things around more so he can track a little easier could certainly be a reason to do that. Like if he
That would
knows if
also.
he knows this whole if he knows that this whole sequence is his plan, now he knows that that 6 is down 2 cards uh below the 4 from the top of it, or I guess 3 now from the top of his row. So the 6 should be 6 cards down.
Not anymore, it's not because he pulled a Force Lightning.
Okay.
All right, so Paul activates everything here. He's going to retrieve 2 Force, which is the Ahsoka and the Celebration. He's going to drain for 1 in space, which is the only drain he can do here. Conor losing Enter the Bureaucrat from his hand.
Seems teched for Hitco.
Very much so, yes.
Uh,
Conor is sitting at 20 cards in Life Force 4 in hand. Paul sitting with 12 cards in Life Force 2 in hand.
Although I guess in fairness, Enter the Bureaucrat is also a good tech card against Legend, because you can cap the drain at Jakku.
Yeah, definitely a good hedge against the other 2 decks that we thought Paul could play.
Yeah. Amusingly, Enter the Bureaucrat and Virgins of the Force are both cards that I've been kind of seeing cycling more into lists in the past month or so. It was certainly better when there were more ISB decks, but like ISB would often have a drain of 3.
All right, so Nothing for Paul during his deploy phase. He's going to move Owen and Baru, General Leia to Mos Eisley, block that drain of 2.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Chewie coming as well.
Yeah, so it's got to be moving everybody.
Yeah, I could see Cassian maybe going to the Dune Sea, but he does follow to Mos Eisley as well.
Yeah, casting into the Dune Sea would make sense. Well, I guess so. It's very possible that Solo and yeah, let's say Solo and Radish are getting out of there. Yes, I could see Cassian going over to the Dune Sea so that way a single sniper doesn't ruin you. Although Doctor E still would. But probably better to just try to run away from the battles completely. You give up a drain of
Especially when you out there, it makes you lose an extra force.
yeah. You give up a drain of 2 and 1 here.
1 force for the droids to be shuttled down. I wonder if that droid's going to get an errata since it's immune to firepower.
I mean, it can still be immune to firepower. You would just read firepower and be confused as to what's happening with that card.
All right, so Conor activating 15 force. Could activate more, but didn't. Saves 3 in reserve deck. Spends 3 force to drain for 2 at the Cantina.
Three in reserve sounds like a lightsaber and a swing.
Maybe there's a second Mara that can go to the moisture farm.
Yeah.
Or maybe Vader gets a lightsaber. I don't know if you're battling into that, though. Also spends 3 to drain for 1 at the Dune Sea. So he has gotten ahead of Celebration here for the first time. Paul has lost quite a mercenary, all wings combo, and Jin Urso.
So we know one of
For to look for a force landing.
we know one of those 3 cards. One of the 4 cards in Subley's hand is a Force Lightning.
Yes.
Actually, this battle's not. Well, okay. So this battle's not that bad, but Vader can't really have a lightsaber because there's not enough destinies for that. If you have like a
Right.
if you have
If he
like
was
a
going to battle and use the force landing, he would
yeah
have saved 4.
if you have a P-59, this battle's not bad. Because then you shoot, cause some loss, kill somebody else with Force Lightning, hopefully just lose P-59, but maybe lose Dooku if you have to attrition. And then you kill somebody else with attrition. Yeah, see, I don't know that I like running into the cantina here. I guess running everybody into the cantina is like fine. Yeah, P-59 doesn't make forfeit 0. So I guess you're probably not killing somebody else with attrition. All right, that's fair. Um, so we're just going straight to battle. No deploy.
He did check his destiny, so maybe he just didn't like what he saw.
Yeah, that's true, Andy. He has not actually played Force Push yet. I Let's see. Force pushing would let you trade out Dooku for Chewie. So you reduce the power difference by one here. Or I guess Vader for Chewie. What? Or no, Vader's more power. So it'd be Dooku for Chewie would be the best exchange. So
One of the
actually,
things it would allow you to do is save Dooku if you force lightning, because
yeah. So you could force lightning and kill somebody, and then push Dooku and Chewie. Okay, that's not bad. He's not doing that though. Did he lose the force baton? I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I don't remember seeing force push go lost. All right, so he moves Kylo and Aura over to the farm. Dooku into the cantina.
oh, and then
We'll probably
Vader
see
over.
Vader go somewhere as well.
Yeah, because he can't drain there anyway. Sure, that seems fine.
Gonna draw some cards.
Have to think if Stubbly's playing another Visage. He's looking. I think he's got to be looking for like Visage and Masterful Move, right?
He's drawing a lot of cards here. Okay, so point man will put two back.
I think he may have also been being careful because, as we recall, the lightsaber should have been trackable there. I think, because lightsaber should have been the seventh card if I remember correctly. Oh no, because he shuffled with Force Lightning, so never mind.
Everything out the window.
Yep, yep.
All right, so Conor will end that turn with 8 cards in hand, 16 in life force.
So this has to be just about the 8 cards that he has access to for the rest of the game, right? Because he can, I guess he has one more that he could take out, but otherwise,
That's reasonable. That point man will be drawable again next turn, most likely. So that'll help him. If he does want to draw some, he still can because he'll find point man.
yeah.
All making a couple activation decisions here. Activated 4 and then one more, so 5. Can make him 6 total.
He only has 9
3 in
left,
reserve
so
deck.
yeah. Total of
We
11.
can assume
Total of 11 to 24 in favor of Stubbly, but Stubbly still has to win by 15 or more. As far as time goes, Paul is down to just under 9 minutes. Stubbly has just under 27. It's 26:50. So as far as time goes, Paul does have to be cognizant of that because that's certainly a way he could lose this game, is if Stubbly maintains plus 14 and wins on time.
so. Paul will activate all of his force, drain for 1 at Tatooine. Honor lost a Lord Maul with Saber from hand. And then he's going to spend 2 to retrieve 2 with Celebration, getting back Jin Urso and All Wings reporting.
Losing both imbalance combos to that peel was a little unfortunate because imbalance combo would also help combat the celebration a little bit.
Yeah, if you can cut that in half every turn, that would be huge.
Yeah. This is kind of an interesting game format wise too, because like if this were just an open game, right? Or if it was just an OCS game in the middle of the season, um, Diplo would be pretty far behind here. Like not impossible for them to outright win, but very difficult. Um, but because we're looking at a diff situation, I think it's possible. It's very possible, I think, for Diplo to get Stubbly under the necessary diff to win the match. But then you also throw in the wrinkle of the time. I don't know if Paul can actually do that with a 18-minute differential with an 18-minute spread. So
So Paul again not deploying anything, just moving Leia to the farm. Going for a revert, which gets denied.
Reaver would have to be just moving somebody else or moving a different person.
Following up, moving Owen and Baru to the farm. R2 and C3PO to the farm. And then drawing some cards.
Joe, Rebel Spy, helped me with the stream resolution stuff, so I'm glad it's working a little better than previous iterations. So the clear avenue of attack here. So there's two possibilities. Um, a lot of it is kind of contingent on like a doctory. A doctory would be very strong, although I guess Paul could certainly have something to stop it in his hand. But like
Yeah, we've seen that he plays at least quite a mercenary, and we haven't seen an Odin yet,
yeah,
which is potentially playable.
like a doctory in particular would be especially strong to play to the farm. Obviously, um, you can't you can't quite stop him from drawing a destiny at all, but can certainly take a lot of power and forfeit out of the battle. Um, now, either a sniper dark strike or a doctory would be really good at the Mos Eisley if he has any weapon, because pretty much any weapon is going to hit Cassian, and then Chewie's by himself. I guess it would have to
All
be
right,
doctory
so
combo, but
Conor activates 9 here. Spends 3 of it to drain for 2 at the Cantina. Did save 6 in reserve, so that points me that he might be battling, but he's not. He goes right to his move phase. He moves Count Dooku to Mos Eisley. And Vader to Mos Eisley. And Kylo Ren over to the Dune Sea. Probably Aura Singh also to the Dune Sea.
yeah, I was gonna say not entirely necessary since Lightside can't battle or drain at the moisture farm, but all it would take is like an Obi-Wan or something to ruin his day. So
Yeah, maybe another Luke. We've only seen one Luke the entire game.
yeah, just playing any Jedi anywhere, like any Jedi to any battleground site to then flip Hunt down back and be able to battle with Leia would be a disaster. So
All right, so Paul activating everything again. We're going to see him drain for 1 in space. Conor will lose a force field from hand. Going to move Chewie over to the Cantina. And now we'll retrieve 3 with Celebration. Oh, no. Before that happens, Count Dooku is going to Force Lightning Cassian Andor.
oh no, does
I should
that?
say try to Force Lightning Cassian Andor. Because he
Oh
does not.
no. Oh, that was
Was
real
a
bad.
1.
That was real bad.
Needed to draw 2. So Paul does get to retrieve 3 Force. That would have been huge because then you basically cut Chewie off from everybody else.
Yep. Yeah, that would have been. Oh, that would have been really big.
So Paul retrieves Celebration, Commander Nara, and quite a mercenary, and then moves Cassian over to the Cantina.
In fairness, it's still possible that this is good for Stubbly. because it still sets up a possibility where Darkseid's battle tricks could just be crushing.
Yeah. And even if there's no battle tricks, you could still battle with Maul into those two, clear both of them, and that's two more guys off the table. You can start to set up. It becomes tougher for Paul to satisfy ultimatum.
Yep. Although he wouldn't have to satisfy ultimatum anymore once Lord Maul is dead.
Fair. All right, so Paul not deploying anything either. Just a riveting game of back and forth here.
I mean, this is actually the
The
really
move
th-
Owen and Baru.
well, this is the really tough part for Paul in this situation is that he just doesn't have the clock to play this game. Like he's only doing one damage a turn to Stubbly. Like net or no, regardless of the retrieval, he's only doing one damage. So I don't. He can't really spend 2 minutes every turn doing this. Like,
So he ends up moving Leia, Owen and Baru, and the droids over to Mos Eisley. Uh, has 8 in reserve deck, 3 in force pile, 3 in hand. Conor going to activate 10, spend 3 to drain for 1 at the Dune Sea. Saves 3 in his reserve deck, which is Mystery Card, Vader's Lightsaber.
yeah, Dan, I agree. Paul's playing it. Paul's playing fine. I don't have any disagreements really with his play. It's mostly just that this is. Ooh. Oh, okay. No, that's fine.
Right, so Conor finds his second visage, plays that, has a no escape to get Force Lightning back.
Oh man, there's so many Force Lightnings played in this match. At least I assume we're getting another one.
Well, clearly theirs is not a contest that can be settled with lightsabers.
I mean, if the contest is to be settled by
Or
knowledge,
knowledge of the Force.
let's say, well, even reversing the quote, if this matchup is to be settled by knowledge of the Force, Stubbly has 4 Dark Jedi on the table. That's got to be advantage dark side, right? So,
You underestimate Admiral Radiss's power. All right, so getting Visage down effectively increases his damage by 2 a turn. He's gonna have to lose. Paul's gonna have to lose 1 at the end of his turn and at the end of Connor's turn. We are gonna see a battle this turn. Conor is battling with Lord Maul into Cassian and Chewbacca.
uh, so at this point, Joe, he's not. I don't think he would battle because he's committed all 3 of his destinies here.
And I am really bad at tracking that Vader's lightsaber. I
Uh,
really thought it was the bottom card.
it was he shuffled with Emperor.
Okay, I feel better now.
Yeah. No, I was with you. I was like, oh, maybe he should have activated one less so that he wouldn't draw the Vader's lightsaber for weapon for battle destiny, but it's fine.
The Maul swings that and hits Cassian, making him forfeit 0.
And Chewie does not have any immunity, so that is going to clear everybody.
Draws a 6 for battle destiny, which becomes a 7. So he won't cause overflow, but he
Yeah.
probably wins the battle.
Oh, good point, Dan. Doing this battle puts the Phantom Menace back in deck, which is a big deal in this differential matchup. Because, yeah, Maul's certainly going to die.
So Paul did win the battle 15 to 14. Nobody's going to lose anything other than the people at the site. So Maul goes to lost pile, and a menace goes to use pile. And then Cassian and Chewie Protector go to lost pile.
Well, Dan, if Worlds was tonight, then you'd be all set. Ah.
Conor using one to move Vader into the cantina. I assume that Dooku will follow.
And then move both the weapon characters into the farm.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I could see doing what I could see doing what the chat had suggested, where you split Dooku and Vader and move Dooku into and move one to the farm and one to the cantina. Um, oh,
Oh, that's pretty big too. Jeez.
yep.
So Paul does have a second out of commission combo to cancel that visage. So effectively, that visage caused Conor 1 damage, and that's it.
The visage also causes Paul 1 damage from the because the
Oh
out of
yeah, okay.
commission's lost. So and Stubbly was effectively taking that damage anyway because visage was going to be on the table one way or the other. Like it was going to be on the table or in loss. It wasn't going to be in life force. So
All right, Paul is into speed mode here. Activates everything, drains for 1 in space. Suddenly losing a surface defense from hand. I think we'll likely just see him. Okay, so moving Leia will allow him to drain for 1 at Mos Eisley as well. Moves the droids also. And Owen
did
and
he?
Baru also.
He
Okay.
didn't actually do the drain though.
No, he's not getting the extra retrieval from it either.
Yeah. Uh,
This feels really dangerous. Okay. So Luke comes down,
well, that explains why he didn't
flipping
do all
Conor
of
back to
that.
the 0 side.
Yes, yeah, so the
Jared, his force landing is in hand.
yeah, because he no escaped it. The six, I believe, should be eight. I think eight. I wanted to say.
There's 4 cards on top of it.
Okay. Yeah.
So he used 4 to move people around.
Yeah.
And then lost from hand. So he does activate 4.
He does have a seven, Justin. That's right. Which is probably what's about to happen
Force
to
lightning is
Luke.
Luke. This should be the Phantom Menace.
And then the next card should be the Emperor.
The next card should be what? Emperor, and then I forget which 5 it was, and then Vader's Saber.
Yep.
So he will be able to, if he still has the Force Push too, he can Force Push Leia out of the battle
Oh no. Yeah.
along with Dooku
And then cancel
and
Owen
clear
Brew's
the other.
text so that they don't draw Destiny. Oh, that would be rough. Yeah, Andy Dooku
He
has
does
done
activate
a lot of work. So, well, so activating the more force, though, if that's the plan, if he has the force push, then activating the more force is fine. Uh, because it doesn't matter really. Like your battle lesson, you're going to overpower Owen Brew and the droids by so much since they're not going to draw Destiny. The droids do cover seven, but
Right, you're still just going to lose the droids, most likely. Checking his reserve deck here. That also means that the top card of his force pile is Vader's Saber.
yeah, he can't really afford to draw. He can't afford to draw it though. He would have to be counting on Paul timing out if he's going to do that. Oh,
We just play Lord Maul. That's good.
yeah.
Right, so now we'll see if he's got the force push still. Because if you have the force push, now you can make the droids forfeit 0.
Force push
Oh, and
Leia.
not draw Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is going to swing at Owen and Baru.
That was master move non-combo. Okay. Well, yeah, that's regrettable.
So 6-5 hits Owen and Baru.
I would agree with you, Joe. I kind of probably would have put Lord Maul to kill Solo and Radis if it was me. Yeah, actually, no. I'm definitely with you, Joe. I think I would have done that. Because that also reduces. Well, I guess it doesn't. It kind of reduces the retrieval options from Celebration. Yeah.
All right, so Conor draws a 5, which becomes a 6. Paul draws a 2. So a difference of 12 power.
The, Dooku has to be done now, right?
Conor will have to lose somebody.
Yeah, it's like Dooku is force lightning like 3 times this game. He's done his job.
Yeah. Now we can rest.
Kill him. Kill him now. Do it.
And then Paul facing either 5 or Leia. You lose Leia.
Yeah. Especially since there doesn't really seem to be a way for him to flip Stubbly back at this point.
Yeah. And then Studley moves Kylo and Aura to Mos Eisley. Poor Joe. Paul activates all 12. Reigns for 1 in space still. Here's the downtown plaza, so we must have had that in hand all game. So Stubbly sitting at 15 in life force and 2 in hand. So definitely getting real close here.
Mm-hmm. I think he has to be expected to win on time if he's going to win it all now, because he can't. I don't think he can do 12 damage uh, before Paul can get him below 14.
Can do 3.
Yeah. That's fair, Dan. It is a bunch of drains now. He's only retrieving 1 now with Celebration.
I mean, technically he could still cover Ultimatum if he moves Solo to the farm, shuttles the Radis up, and shuttles Bale down to Dune C.
Yeah.
But that seems like a lot of risk. Okay, this is also a lot of risk. Leaving
There
Admiral Radis by himself.
has to be an it's a trap, right? Or something? A dodge?
Would you rely on dodge at this point?
Dodge number 3. He has not used his solo yet, right? Or no, he did. He did. He used it on the
Yeah,
out of commission. He used it out of commission.
I still don't like it because it's effectively a free drain of 1.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I don't understand doing that either. What could it be? It could be a narrow escape.
Third out of commission. Right?
That is a third out of commission for him. So,
The second treated.
oh yeah. You're right. So this is both players teching quite well for what they expected each other to play.
It's a trap. You were right. So now Conor can move some guys around. Probably just move Kylo to the farm and
Vader over.
probably Vader to Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
All with an all wings. He's sitting at 15 in Life Force 2 in hand. Moves Aura Sing to the Cantina. Paul activates everything. Just gonna drain for 1 and retrieve 2 here. The only problem I see now is what do you like? You have to fight. Somebody's gonna fight you at some point, right? Because Radis can't.
I
I
mean,
guess Radis can go to space.
I think it seems like clearly the plan here has to be to just try to get Stubbly below 14 or below 15 before Paul runs out of time. Sure. That doesn't.
Okay.
That lets you still satisfy resistance, I guess, or ultimatum. I mean, he's been retrieving with celebration the whole game, pretty much.
Yeah.
I feel like I mean Ahsoka got retrieved, but then she got lost again. I don't. I think General did. So Derek, the reason 15 is the key number is this is the second game in a match. So, in order to win the match, it's whoever won by more differential over the course of the two games. Paul won the first game by 14. So, in order for Stubley to advance, he has to win this game by 15. If he even if he wins this game, but if he does it by less than 15, then he will not have enough differential to advance. Yeah, good question though, because outside of match play, then yeah, the actual amount of life force is totally irrelevant. It's as long as it's not zero. So
So Conor draining for 2 in the Cantina and 1 at the farm. Paul lost Chewy from hand, Barrier from hand, and Antilles from reserve deck. Gonna go ahead and battle here with Vader. If he's tracking that masterful move, that's a good battle for him.
yeah,
But 5 is not enough. It's just gonna get Jin.
yeah.
Paul draws a 5 also. So just Jin will be lost.
A six would have been gross, Justin. Yeah, but I don't think there was a six left for him to draw.
And the masterful move is somewhere in there.
It is. A six for Paul, I think was what Desai was saying.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Still a good battle. So I mean, now he just
And
moves
so
and
now
puts someone at
Kylo.
every site.
Like, it's unfortunate that the number is 14 because he's going to get there in the next 2 or 3 turns. It's just he's going to take that space drain 2 or 3 more times.
Yeah. I mean, I think the real question here is whether Paul can actually get there in a minute and 23 seconds, which is what he has left.
I'm pretty sure he finished game 1 with, I want to say it was like 9 seconds left or 6 seconds left.
6 seconds.
It's certainly a record for least amount of time left in a match.
While winning. So I've timed out before, so I could definitely say that
That's
zero
fair.
is the.
All right, so Paul starting this turn with 8 cards in reserve.
uh,
Activates 8.
Lost pile count, well, is currently 31 and 31, but is going to change in just a second. It's 32 now for Stubbly, and it's going to be 29 for Paul. Oh, in the other games, yeah, I don't know.
Paul retrieves 2. It's Jin Arso and Captain Antilles. There is General Kraken to Mos Eisley.
So he will at least get a Destiny.
But he didn't save anything in his reserve deck, so he's not battling this turn.
Yeah.
And they're both forfeit 4, and I'm pretty sure Conor can track a 5 at this point.
I mean, Conor has a weapon that makes forfeit 0, so it doesn't really even matter.
Oh, it does make forfeit 0. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like P59 or something. I don't like that at all.
What is? Oh, okay. So we're just moving everyone in front of Vader.
I guess Kraken's going to stay there.
Well, Kraken still
Draws
draws on his
Destiny.
own, yeah. So that's fine.
Stubbly didn't save 3. He should have.
Yeah, he should have saved 3 in order to be able to do the second battle. Well, or
All right,
or
so
actually,
Wall will turn for 2.
he may just not be shooting at General Kraken, in which case this is fine. All right, I don't know why he wouldn't shoot at
He
General
robbed the
Kraken.
Force.
Yeah, he should probably have shot at General Kraken, but yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you, Ryan. I got there. I think he should probably have shot at General Kraken. There's not really a reason not to.
All
Even
right,
and
so
I don't
Conor
know.
drained for 2 and 1.
As I say, even and I'm not sure if this would be count as scummy or not, but even if for no other reason than you want to pass priority to Paul again to make him use more time, you would want to shoot. Yeah,
So
exactly.
Vader will battle first. He's going to draw 5 and be 11. The 5's going to get rid of Solo here. I don't actually know the time rules, but I'm pretty sure it's
Life
Conor
force.
by whatever he's got left. So
Yeah,
if
Connor by everything he has left, which in this case would still
Paul
be
can't
life
make it to
force
drain,
because they both have no hand.
yeah. This is some real edge of your seat Star Wars cards here in the last 15 seconds of Paul's timer. The Aura Singh will also battle.
Yeah, he should have saved one more force so that he could shoot here, but that's
Yeah. Going to be 8 total power versus Kraken. Who is also 8 total power. So they will both be gone from the site. And somebody better get on that loss pile counts here, because that's it. This game's going to end with 14 cards for Stubbly.
he should have moved more.
Yeah, should have swapped Vader and Kylo.
Yeah, cancel text. Yeah, he should have moved more. search with Emperor in activate.
Bale drains for 1, and then that's going to be the game. I see zeros on the clock.
Yep.
Oh boy. Okay.
Joe, I think
So
making him activate force one at a time would to me be a little too far, but I'm with you. I that also yeah.
so I'm reasonably certain that Conor wins this game by 14 because Paul ran out of time.
Yeah.
Paul won game 1 by 14. They're tied on lost piles in this game at 34 apiece. So we really need to figure out what the lost piles are from last game.
Well,
So that's a good time.
let me see, because I was watching it a second ago, although I don't know that I'll be able to see it. Joe can probably tell us.
Yeah, Watto probably had less cards than Legend.
I would guess so also.
There it's on for us. We're projecting that Paul will advance. We need to certify this. Every differential must be counted. Now,
Yeah. So to be honest,
guys, is it... Go ahead.
I was gonna say to be honest, my feeling on the way the way the time operates, I am kind of with the way Stubbly played the end of that game. Even if I think we kind of all saw there were ways he could have expended a couple more seconds, and given that that drain was right at the line, like he could have won the match by shuffling dudes around and verifying with Palpatine and all this stuff. But I'm glad that he played it this way.
Yeah.
So
I I kind of agree with you, but also it's not like Connor still has 10 minutes left on his clock, and it's been counting down since the game ended, so it's definitely more than that. So I think the move is fine, just because that's a gameplay decision, right? You want a lightsaber in front of Radis to cause extra damage.
sure, yes,
But I can agree that maybe you don't search with Emperor knowing that you don't have a Force Lightning in there.
yeah. All right.
Jared, I thought you were checking. I thought you were going to tell us.
Yeah. So that's the other reason, though, that
So
I appreciate the way that Subly played it, because then I don't want us to be getting into the minutia of like, oh, is this a gameplay move or not? Because right, canceling Radis's text is like not really a gameplay move, because Radis has already used his text. He doesn't really have text here, right? So I then we get to splitting hairs of like debating that, which I don't like. So I think this was a very honorable way for Conor to play it. If he eats it by tiebreakers, he eats it by tiebreakers, and that's fine. So
yeah, I feel pretty comfortable calling it for Paul based on what everybody is saying. Um, we're gonna have to get a replay from one of them just to see what it looks like at the end. But we think Paul is going to advance on lost pile tiebreakers here after winning game 1 by 14 and losing game 1 by 14, or losing game 2 by 14.
yep, and a pretty small tiebreaker if I'm reading what people are saying correctly, that it was 16 versus 20 in the first game. So
Yeah,
that would mean it was a 4 point tiebreaker split after a tied
yeah, definitely
differential,
two
which
well
is
played games.
yeah, about as close as it gets. So,
We have our first 2020 OCS finalist, and it's Paul Myers.
all right. Well, if that's the way it holds, certainly congratulations to both players because I would agree with what they're saying in the chat to
Absolutely.
each other. It was really well played. Um, the yeah, this is quite a game to watch. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, uh, thanks to both of them for playing. Thanks to everybody else for watching. I think we're gonna sign off from here. So
May I plug a couple things before you sign off?
yeah, go ahead.
So make sure you guys, if you are interested, please sign up for the Road to Worlds event. Registration is open now. That's going to start on the 10th. Definitely try to get your 12 games in. People are going to get stamped cards, foil stamped cards. There's Worlds entry fee for second through fifth place and a playmat for first place. Definitely check that out. Worlds registration is live, so definitely get those in. Get those in as soon as you can. Make sure you pick which two heats you would like to play in for your preference. Like I said, we're going to do our best to get you into that first preference. We guarantee you'll get into at least your second preference. For Eastern time guys like me, we'll get you into at least your third preference. What else we got going on? Drew Lichtenstein put together a 1-day event that's going to happen on November 21st. That's 2 weeks from today. It's going to be $10 entry. Everything will be done that day. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time, I believe. Certainly something to check out. That's on the tournament forum. And that's all I can think of right now.
Yeah, that all sounds right to me. And in case you don't remember, the pod start times for Worlds, these are in Eastern time, so bear that in mind. Saturday at 4 a.m. and 10 a.m., and then Sunday at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. So whatever two of those work best for you. I know I'm in Mountain Time, so I'm going for both those afternoon ones instead of playing at 2 a.m. on Saturday. So, but yeah, thanks everybody for coming out and watching. I know, I believe Justin Desai was saying in the chat that he's not sure exactly when he and Bastion are playing game two, but I'm sure we'll be posting about that and having coverage for it as soon as we have that game. And then we'll have the finals coming up after that. So, all right, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you have a good night. Oh, Paul's in the chat now saying he's not even sure who advanced. Paul, we're pretty sure it was you.
Paul, if you could just open a replay or send me a replay from your last game with Conor, we can figure it out for you. But we're pretty sure it's you. Well, if we're still in the air, then I'm gonna
We
plug set 9, not set 9, set
set
13
13.
coming out on the 9th.
Yep, 9th of November is when Set 9 is slated to come out. I haven't heard anything that there's going to be any delay, so uh, those cards will be live on GEMP as soon as they are ready, and then we'll get to start playing with the new cards. So I'm sure everyone's been doing some brainstorming on decks. Yeah, sorry, we're just
Yeah,
explaining in the
myself.
chat because Paul was asking what the ruling was. It'd be whoever has less cards in Lost Pile in Game 1 since they're tied in Game 2 for cards in Lost Pile.
Myself and Drew Lichtenstein were trying to put together an article called 13 Decks for Set 13, which we're hoping to publish in conjunction with Set 13 coming out on Monday. So be on the lookout for that as well.
Now, Paul is fast forwarding the replay of Game 1, so uh, I guess we can just wait for that to be done because it should take just a second, I would imagine, since he doesn't have to look for anything, just at the very at the 10 times speed. Um, and then we'll go off the air once we have the answer on that definitively, because it should just hopefully take a moment. Yes, I have the YouTube replay up, but it
Can't see it.
well, it's hanging when I try to zoom it towards the end. Because I didn't actually get to watch it to the very end, and then the resolution is such that I don't know that I'll be able to read it. So, because there were some resolution problems
I,
with the first game. So
let me point out right here, right now, that so this bot that has been created for OnGamp playing against Scott right now. Bot is playing operatives against Scott's mind, which you have learned. And the bot was able to monarch Scott on turn one. What a great game.
oh man. Yeah, if you haven't played against the bot, I recommend it at least to try out a new deck. Make sure that it works. Um, the it's a hoot to play against. I played against it with agents in the court, and the bot was playing Raltier operations, and the bot did not know that you were supposed to play your spaceport sites to Raltier. So there was a spaceport docking bay on Tatooine and a spaceport city on Tatooine, and Raltier Ops was never in danger of flipping. So uh, it was an amusing time. There were many sites on Tatooine in that game. All right, so Paul, do we turn 3?
Turn three, jeez. Okay. There are many turns to go still.
I mean, maybe not. This game ended on turn 13, so Joe, do you have
I need to check out the pixels.
your recorded replay of game 1? I don't know if you can get to the end faster than Paul can. We'll have a race.
Oh no, the pixels.
Paul saying
YouTube.
Paul's saying he even played slow in the replay. You're playing methodically, Paul. We'll say that.
All right, here's what I'm doing. I count light side cards on the table.
But then there's how to play cards.
I There's one card out of play.
Okay, probably Java's prize, right? So
I think it's Walkling actually. And then dark side cards on the table.
our TV became really riveting at the very end here.
I think Paul's got it.
Yeah, I would agree. If it's certainly 16 to 20 something, I think that's good. That's good enough for me to call it. So we'll wait for the electoral college vote, but we'll for the moment say that we're calling that game for Paul.
Yeah.
All right. I think that is officially going to be the end now. So have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.